my name is Donna, and in today's video I'm going to show you how I set up a bird cage for a Senegal parrot, for a small parrot. This could work for other types of birds as well. And I have a flock of birds. You can see them all on my channel. I've been living with birds for like forever, and I've set up many cages. So I just wanted to share some tips and inspiration for you, especially if you're new to owning birds and you've never set up a cage, or you don't know how to set up a cage, or you're just looking for other suggestions on how to set up a cage. So I'm going to share that with you. One thing I wanted to mention first is that most new cages come with these. These are dowel perches. These are the perches that most cages come with. These are called dowel perches. This cage that I'm doing came with 2. It fits the width of the cage, not the length, because the length is longer. But these are dowels, and these are not recommended by most avian veterinarians or bird enthusiasts, because these are all uniform. And this is slippery. Watch this when I turn it in my hand. Very slippery. I'm trying to grasp it and I can't. So these are very slippery. You should never really use these for the top of the cage where the bird sleeps. Birds always sleep high, and they spend a lot of time on top of the top layer of the cage. So if you're going to use one of these, like even myself, I sometimes use them at the bottom of the cage. One's not going to hurt you, but I recommend never using just dowels as your only perch. I've seen mistakes where new bird owners will buy a cage and they have no idea. They didn't research or anything, and they'll get these perches and they'll think that's all they need is just these 2 dowel perches. And what happens to the bird is that the bird will be sitting on this perch. Only one uniform size of perch all its life, basically. So what happens is the pressure points are all on the same spot. And that would mean that it's possible your bird can get infections in their feet, bumblefoot, arthritis, because the bird has no foot exercise. Birds need to exercise their feet on different surfaces, different sizes of perch. They don't want to be sitting like this all their lives. You know, birds in the wild, they fly and land everywhere. They're on all different sizes of trees. They're on the grass, they're on the cement, they're on rocks. They're everywhere, different kinds of trees as well. So I recommend you just even removing these, or if you want to use one, which sometimes I do, you can use one but lower in the cage where the bird doesn't always sit just to walk around or go grab a treat or a toy. It might be okay, but it's in your best benefit to even just get rid of them if you like. So these are the ones that come with them, and you can see there's a notch in them as well. You see the notch? Does it show a notch? That's the notch. These, they go onto the cage bars. But the other perches that we use, it's best to use a lot of different natural perches, like this one. They come with the hardware that you just take this off, and it goes right here. The cage bars go between here, and this attaches to the bars. And you can also even cut your own branches down, but make sure you bake them or properly wash them, because you don't want to bring any pathogens, any dirt or bugs into your house. I do a video on that. I'll put the link down below how you can take care of that. But there's different kinds of perches, all different types of wood and different sizes, different shapes, even a flat perch here. And then there's grooming perches as well. You don't want to use up to the top either, but I'll show you. There's even a clay one. This is a nice softer one. But there's all different types, and some other perches like this Java perch. This one is a little bit slippery, and the manzanita, I find them very slippery unless the branch is sandblasted where they make grooves in it. It's not slippery. Like this one's very slippery as well. If you go like this with your hand and turn it, you'll see which one's slippery. Because look, I'm going to try it with a different one. See, my hand doesn't slip as much. And even this one, this is a nice one. This is a good grippable perch. It's a pepperwood. Look at this. I can't barely spin it in my hand. So you want to get a variety of perches, different woods and different sizes. So look at these two comparison. Can you see that? One is bigger than the other. And now for the most important part is picking the right sleep perch for your bird. Birds always almost sleep on the top part of your cage, so you want to make that the most comfortable perch. I like the dragonwood perch. The dragonwood is very soft, or even the pepperwood, it's a little bit more grippy. You don't really want to use a slippery dowel or a slippery Java perch, or you don't want to use a Grumman perch either, because this can cause abrasions on the bottom of the feet. And for your bird, pick the appropriate size perch. The bird's feet, they should wrap around the perch 3/4 of the way. You don't want to give your big, like say African gray, a small perch like this, where they put their feet and their nails are touching each other. You don't want to do that. And you don't want to give a budgie, a big one like this, where their feet are just kind of almost flat. You know, unless they choose this perch in your cage, but you don't want to provide it has the sleep perch. You want to provide like the right size. This is probably the right size for my Senegal. And where their feet are sitting comfortably. You want to give them one of those. So I'm going to show you how I set it up. Now the cage that I'm setting up is called a Beaks flight cage. It's about 30 inches in length and about 21 inches deep, and I believe it's about 36 inches high, and then it has a stand which makes it about 69 inches high. But we're just doing the inside, of course, because the stand doesn't really matter at this point. But I'm going to be setting it up for my Senegal, who likes to climb. Now, the cage setup that I do is for Senegal, is basically for birds that like to climb rather than fly. If I was setting it up for like a canary or a Burke or a turquoisine or any kind of bird, a dove, that doesn't climb and they fly instead, I would basically be putting the two perches at as far as I can apart so they can fly back and forth. For my Senegal, who doesn't really fly, she likes to climb, so the perches will be set up different. So this setup is not for all birds, but it's for most birds that like to climb rather than fly, because canaries, well, they can't grasp the bar. Either can Burks or turquoisines or dove, they can't climb on the bars, but she can, and she likes to climb some nice perch to perch. So let's go set up the cage. Here's the cage that I'm going to be setting up. It actually has two doors, one on the top and one down lower, which I like because it's easier to, helps me set it up better. I can put my hand in the top or put my hand down below, like even way down. Instead of having one in the middle, you got to reach your hand up and down and up and down. And it has two side doors, one on each side, where I can put my hand in there to put the back perches on, because it's kind of hard to reach if those doors were not there. They have nice locks here, and they have a pull-out grate here, or the tray, and then the grate is right there, and then the stand at the bottom. So this is what it looks like from a distance. When I set up a cage, I like to start with the top perches. So I'm going to place it where, at the top, where she has enough room to stand without hitting her head. This is where she will sleep. Most birds will sleep at the top part of the cage. They like to sleep high, not necessarily low. I don't know, in my experience, all of my birds sleep up high. Unless they're not feeling good, they sleep down low because they're too ill to climb to the top or sit on the top. But anyways, there's my first perch. It's a soft perch. I believe this is dragonwood. It's very soft. Could be applewood as well, but it's not. It's not slippery. It's grippable, and she can fit her feet. She can wrap her toes around it 3/4 of the way, so it'll be a comfortable perch for her to grasp and sleep on without falling off or slipping off or being uncomfortable, like rocking back and forth. You don't want your bird to rock back and forth. Even though they lock their legs, they can still rock back and forth. So I'm just going to make sure it's really tight so that it doesn't undo. There. Now I'll put a perch the same height at the different end of the cage. This perch is actually a little bit wider, and the reason I put two different widths is because the bird can make a choice of where they want to sit. One is the proper size, and this one's a little bit wider, but she can choose if she wants to sleep on the other one or this one. And these are the same type of wood, I believe. They're very soft and grippable. She won't slide off of them. And she can choose which one she wants to sleep on or sit on. I now have the 2 top perches set up, which are considered the sleep perches. This is the best size for my Senegal. This one's a little bit wider. Now, I don't suggest you use a thinner one, such as this one. This is a 1/2 inch. I wouldn't use this as a sleep perch because my bird, the size of her feet, I think that's the proper size over there. This one's too small, like for sleeping and gripping, because she would put her claw here and her nails would be, wrapped around and going into her pads, and this one as well. The nails are always sticking up all over. It's not very comfortable. She can use this perch, but it's best to be used in another part of the cage, like down lower. She can obviously use that, but not for sleeping. For sleeping, she'd be the best size that fits your bird's feet, or a little bit wider is fine as well, as long as the nails do not touch each other. And if it's really small like this one or even smaller, they can be uncomfortable and kind of sway back and forth or even fall off. For my next perch, I'm going to be using this flat perch. Electra likes to sit on the flat perch a lot. She used it a lot in her previous cage, so she likes to sometimes even sleep up there. So I'm going to put it up there in the top right hand corner so that she can choose to sleep on this as well if she would like. These side doors do come in handy. I can just slide the perch right through there and put it in. Otherwise, it'll be very hard for me to get this perch in by myself. I would need a second person. So I'm just going to place this perch right here, and it's at the top level as well. So if she wants to sleep there, she can, or just rest there. Birds do need flat surfaces to rest on as well. This flat perch is actually great for birds with disabilities, if they have one leg or 1 foot or missing toes or any kind of disability where they can't sit on a perch too long. The flat perch works awesome. And now I'll put all the rest of the perches in, and I'll show you where I place them and why I placed them there. The cage is all down now. I have put in the toys in and the food bowls just to show you where everything will go instead of showing individually. But basically, you've seen these top perches where she possibly will sleep with the flat perch. What I've done is hung a toy in the middle and put a perch down below. This is a grapevine perch, so hopefully when she poops it won't fall on there, but they're all washable. I can wash them all. This is a Java perch with various sizes on it, from thinner to thicker, that she can crawl on. I hung one of her toys above that. And then I put another, this is a sandblasted Java perch, I believe, and I hung her chewing blocks here. She's a big chewer, so she's working on these, you can see. So she can actually reach this toy from this perch and down to this perch here. And this is where I put her clay perch. This is a grooming perch. It's actually soft. It's kind of actually comfortable. It's nice and warm. And this will be for her fresh food, stainless steel bowls. And this will be for her dry food. And she has this beak buffer, which they just basically wipe their beak on it after they've eaten, or wipe it whenever they feel like it to maybe sharpen or groom their beak. And then I put up here the pepper tree perch. This is very grippable. It's nice, and she'll probably chew on that. This is where her water is, right here, so she can jump on this perch and go to her water. And I've hung another grooming perch right here. And it's hard to see this, but let me just close the doors. Yeah, so then I hung this very long toy here, which she likes to chew. This is a softer wood, like a yucca wood, a kebab. And she can basically reach it from, this perch or the perch below. So what I've done with the dowel perch, I put it down here, down below. See how it reaches the width of the cage? So sometimes it's kind of neat how they can walk from one end all the way to the other. And she can use this perch to come out of the cage as well. And since she's a Senegal with a strong beak, she might even eat that perch. So sometimes these dowel perches don't last very long. And this is think this is a birch. This is one I got from outside, a birch or maybe a maple that I put there. And the bark is already removed from that. So she can reach her other toy from that perch as well. And these perches, you can see she can walk from here to here to here to here, and she can crawl on the wires of the cage. And there's another perch down there. That's a dragonwood. And this one, I believe, is another Java perch. So by placing these toys lower in the cage, especially the shredding ones that she really enjoys, this helps her move around the cage to get exercise and to use the lower half of the cage, because sometimes birds just stay on the top half. But if you want to give your bird exercise and enrichment, hang some toys down lower. So she has this one down lower, this one, she's got that chewing block, and another chewing block over there. So hopefully she'll utilize the whole cage and yeah, get the exercise that she needs. And of course she comes out of the cage every day for enrichment and some socialization. She comes out of her cage as well. But this is her setup. It's hopefully looking pretty good. But once I got her in there, I can also move things around if they're not working for her. So it's not set in stone to set up your cage, you know, exactly like mine, but this is just to give you an idea. But the most important part is to have different textures of perches, different woods, different widths and lengths, and lots of toys for the bird to be entertained when they're in the cage. And it's important to use stainless steel bowls as well, as if they're used plastic and the plastic scratches, especially with the Senegal with a sharp beak, a strong beak, the bacteria can be held in the cracks. So stainless steel is much better, and these can just come right out of the holders. This one comes out too. And there's other ones that, like this one, it has a hook on it, and that can just be hooked up. But if your parrot likes to take the bowl off, you want to get the other type of bowl, or even a different type of bowl that where they can't remove the bowl from the holders. And for the bottom of the cage, I like to cover the grate, and this is just paper towel. Electra doesn't really spend a lot of time on the floor, but she possibly could. I just don't want her to get her feet stuck in the grate. And the grate actually, it can be removed, but if I remove it, there's a big gap down there. So that's why I like the HQ cage is better. They're closer together. So I have to leave that in and just cover it with paper. This is paper towel. And then I put paper towel under there just to keep it double clean. So now I'm going to put her in and see if she likes her new cage. Electra's in her cage. She's just sitting on her water bowl, and she's just thinking about everything. Sometimes it takes birds a few minutes or longer to just explore their new cage. There's a new cage and new setup, and so everything is different. So she's just she looks a little bit excited. She's just thinking about it, and I'm sure she's going to start walking around and exploring everything. All right, Electra's on the move. Yep, she found her food bowl. All right, so she's crawling around. Look at this. She's on the Java perch. She was actually on her grooming perch. Now she's on the grapevine perch. Look at her go. She's on the move. Yay! See, she likes to crawl perch. There she goes. Wow, she made it right to the top level. It's like a ladder. Oh, you dancing? Are you happy? You happy, girl? I'm sure she enjoys her new cage. Good girl.